different than what we've done before. We're going to do some block carving. As you know, I just moved to Nashville, and I've had a lot of people that have been super gracious in meeting me and reaching out to me and just including me in this Nashville creative scene. So I'm going to make them some thank you cards. There are a lot of different ways you can do this and a lot of different tools you can use, but today I'm going to use this here. This is a speedball speedy cut is what they call it. I think you can get this at most art stores, of course Amazon. I'll put the link down below. It's rubbery. It's like a big eraser almost. So what we're gonna do is we're going to draw a pattern, and then we're going to carve it in here, and then we're going to ink it, and we can print multiple of them. It just has a little bit more of a hand done feel rather than just using Jonathan, my normal printer. So we're gonna start with some carving tools, which again, I will put the link down below. I think you can get these at art stores. I got them at my college bookstore. So if you guys have one of those in your town, they're a great resource for kind of funky art supplies like this. These ones have a wooden handle, which are nice. And then if you can see this, the tip here is, they come in all different shapes and sizes. Like this one's flat, this one's round. And of course that's for different shapes. These are Japanese carving tools. Again, I'll put the link down below, but they come in just different shapes. Let's get busy. These are typically used for like more wood carving. They can be used for a lot of things though. So wood carving, linoleum blocks. This obviously, because we're gonna use them today. So they're just kind of good tools to have if this is something you want to get into, and this is super easy printmaking that you can do at home. So first I'm going to trace this so I can see how big it is. When you print something, you have to carve it opposite of what you want it to print. It's like a mirror. So if I draw it directly on my block, it's not gonna come out correctly. But if I draw it on the paper and then imprint it on the block, it will. Let me show you what I'm talking about, because that's kind of confusing. Okay, so it's very, very rough, but that's okay. So what I'm gonna do now is go over it really dark with this pencil and then imprint the block on it. So here's the important part. So you want to place this, actually, I didn't think this through very well. Okay, so what's happening here, because the card just died, is I'm coloring over all of the parts that I drew on before so that they imprint on the block. And you want to go over this quite a few times and try to keep the paper as still as you can, because this is what you're going to want to trace. Okay, and then you can kind of peek, make sure you got everything. See, I forgot that spot there. Looks pretty good. We have our block pretty much transferred, as you can see. So it's supposed to be backwards. Keep that in mind. So now I'm gonna just kind of clean this up with my pencil, and then we'll get to carving. So because my block is pretty little, I think these two tools are going to be my go-to. This is, you can see how tiny this is. All of the black stuff, the writing, I want to keep. Everything else I want to carve away. That's really important to think about when you're doing this. This is just, you can kind of hold it like this. So you have like a guide finger and a push. Again, this is kind of hard because it's a small block, but see how easily this just kind of comes up like that? And now we're just gonna go around this whole thing. So bear with me, it's gonna take a while. So I really love carving with blocks like this versus wood and whatnot, especially for beginners, because this is just like butter. It just like carves right up. It's super easy to work with. And just have fun with this. You don't like, printmaking is supposed to look hand done. That's the beauty of it. So don't be too hard on yourself. And with this, you kind of have to cut a little bit deep so that when we ink it, these ridges don't show up. So then you can come in with like a bigger tool that has a bigger like shovel on it basically, and just kind of carve some of this out, unless you want those lines in there. And of course, remember, it's always easier to take away later. You can't add. So if you're not sure, ink it and then come back and cut. Tutorial on the tools. It's really hard to see here on this camera, but you see this one has a V on it, so that's gonna make, it's gonna make a line. So for instance, let's see if I can do this and film at the same time. See, the tool is really large, but the line that it's making is quite small, depending on how far in you go. And then there's tools like this that are a U shape. Let's see. They're gonna make a bigger imprint like so. And then all of these tools that are knives, those are super helpful. So if you wanna go around an edge and make sure that you don't cut into it, you can just use this kind of like an X-Acto knife, and then cut up alongside of it with another tool. Like one of those V-shaped tools is gonna be helpful there, just to kind of give you some guide. Very beginner tutorial, but just play with it. That's really how I figured it out. So I think I have the block mostly done. I kind of left some pieces that I didn't color in just because I wanted to have the block print technique show through. So now what I'm gonna do before I actually print it is I'm gonna go over it with graphite to kind of show what I missed, because as you can see, it's a little bit hard to tell what's carved and what's not. So I'm just gonna take my pencil and lightly go over like this, and whatever is picking up this pencil mark is gonna be picked up in the print itself. So it's kind of a good test. And again, you're gonna do some test prints, so it doesn't matter if you miss some stuff, you can always go back and carve. Okay, so typically when you print make, you want to use like a roller and kind of like a paint roller. They make specific ones, Speedball does, I'm sure other brands do as well. And you can roll on ink on your block. Today, I don't have one. I'm a huge proponent of using what you do have. So I'm going to use this ink pad. It's just like it's a stamp ink pad that you would put a stamp on. I'm just gonna push it on all of the levels here. See how everything is inking? That's okay. It's not gonna show up that way. And you wanna, especially, this is not like the preferred method, but it works. You wanna make sure your ink is as even as it can be. So we take the block, we flip it over, and you press evenly on the entire thing. And then, dun da da da. Pretty fun. So as you can see right here, I didn't ink it well enough, and then you can always come in here and say like, okay, I don't like those strikes, I don't like this little situation here, and then go back to your block and clean it off. Okay, so there it is. Again, you can paint this, you can use watercolor, you can use ink pads. That's probably not the suggested way. If my printmaking teacher saw this, she probably wouldn't like it, but it works. And it's what I had. So that's what we're all about here. Hopefully you liked it. If you guys did like it, let me know if you want to see more things like this. I really enjoy doing them, so I'll probably just keep filming them, but always love to hear your feedback. Those of you that have commented, I hear your comments. I'm going to do those videos. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. We're always doing fun things on this channel, and I'd love for you to join.